like to introduce two of our panelists who are well known for their success in guiding startup companies to rapid solid growth. Marcus Sheridan and Todd Barr. Todd has been working mostly in B2B and Marcus in B2C space, but recently in B2B as well.
Well, pricing is a key topic. It's always a sensitive topic, and it's Marcus, you have said in your book that it is the top question that customers want to know about, and so tell me more about how you deal with that in the work you're doing. And Todd, I'd like to hear a little bit about that on your side as well.
Yeah, this is one of those things where to this day, and so I've been speaking about digital marketing, digital sales and marketing for 10 years. And I have polled now well more than 100,000 people on this in different audiences. And I can tell you for certain, especially B2B, still to this day, unless it's a SaaS company or an e-commerce company, over 90% of B2B service-based businesses do not discuss cost and price on their website. Question is, why? They're still living in 1995. That's the year I graduated high school, by the way. All right? And they're not treating their buyer like they themselves would want to be treated, because here's the facts, here's the reality of where we have all evolved as a buyer. If you go to anybody and say, have you researched how much something costs online before? They're going to say, yes. If you say, when you're on a website and you cannot find anything about cost and price, what is the emotion you experience? They're going to say, I get frustrated really, really fast. And then you say, do you stay on that website and keep looking? They'll say no. You say, do you call that company to find out the price? They say no. You say, what do? I keep looking until I find. And generally speaking, whoever gives them the answer they were looking for, that's who's going to get either first contact, first phone call, or at least eventually could possibly get the business. That's what's possible. That's what's possible. And this is true for services, for products, everything. Now, the problem though is everybody likes to make all these reasons as to why we can't talk about cost and price. We say, well, every job is different. I have a very customized solution, okay, which is actually very easy to explain. What drives costs up in your space? What keeps costs down, okay? We like to say, my competitors will find out, which is really simple because your competitors probably know what you're charging, just like you know what they're charging. And then finally, number 3, we like to say things like, well, we tend to be more expensive, and if we're more expensive, we just might scare them away. Actually, what scares buyers away is ignorance. When they don't know, when they can't find the answer, that's what scares buyers away. And so, instead of having that mindset, the proper approach is to say very openly on your website, okay, so you're looking for cost and price information. Let's talk about it. And then you spend 80% of your time talking about 4 things. And of these 4, you don't fall in the category. Here's the 4 things that you want to spend all your time talking about when it comes to cost and price. Number 1, what drives cost up for that service or product in your industry? Number 2, what keeps costs down for that service or product? Number 3, why are some companies so expensive for that service or product? Number 4, why are some companies so cheap? Now, you can already imagine why salespeople, done right, would really love to have a piece of content like that in their hands, because it explains early in the sales process why you might be more expensive. But are you really more expensive, right? Because you've explained it. And then the 5th part of a great piece of content that has to do with cost and price, the 5th part, after those 4, is where you fall. Where do you fall? Your product, your service, whatever that thing is. Now, at a minimum, I would suggest that you do give a range, because that's more than most of your competitors are willing to give. But let me just say this too. I have a manufacturing company today. We manufacture fiberglass pool shells. We have franchisee dealers all over the country. I don't set their prices, because I can't, because of shipping and all these things. But what can I do? Can I give someone cost and price information if they came to my site right now? Well, of course I can. And not only that, but I can allow them to choose their swimming pool shape, size, options, features, accessories. I can explain to them some of the hidden costs, and then I can give them a price range based on what they've said, which that tool is on the River Pools and Spas site right now. We're the only manufacturer for fiberglass pools in the world that gives pricing on the website, and although it's just a range, because we do that, we absolutely crush when it comes to lead generation, and there's nobody close to us in our space. This is why we get almost 1 million visitors a month to the website too. All because we lean into this stuff. We don't lean away from it. We ask, how can we do it within the confines of what we're able to do? And if B2B companies that are service-based especially started thinking that way, what can we give? Even though we can't not necessarily give every nook and cranny, like cost price, we can give more than we're giving. We can explain more than we're teaching. If we do that, we're going to be way ahead of our competitors.
Well, Todd, I noticed on your website that you also address pricing. Tell us a little bit more about how you are handling that topic.
I feel inadequate because I'm not sure we've described the first 5 of those, but our pricing is on our website.
Well, so Todd, really quick, this is what most companies that are in the technology or software space, they have now pricing pages. The flaw, though, with the way they design them is they don't teach the marketplace on those pages as well.
Yep.
And that's the issue. So in other words, if there's lots that do this. HubSpot does the same thing, right? And so HubSpot has a pricing page, and then you see the different levels of HubSpot, but you don't really understand what can I expect if I'm pricing out marketing automation software? What can I expect if I'm pricing out CRM? Why are some expensive? Why are some cheap? This is where they fall short. This is where most SaaS companies, most technology companies fall short as well. So I appreciate you actually mentioning that, Todd, because that's the thing where most need to improve. The fact, though, that you do talk about it, that's a big win. Very big one.
Yeah, I've actually tested this because at a previous company where we had very limited, if kind of the call us for pricing. And then we flipped and did the transparent pricing. Actually, we had transparent pricing, and then we're like, hey, we need more touches with our sales team. So let's put call us for pricing on there and test that. And needless to say, we went right back to putting our pricing on our website because we got more velocity, we got more quantity of people interested, and we realized it wasn't people just aren't calling us because pricing's on the website. It's actually sort of intuitively opposite, because you think, if they can see the pricing, they're going to go away because it may look too expensive or too cheap. But actually, Marcus is exactly right, and I've tested this with A/B testing. They just go away if you don't have pricing. So you never have the opportunity to have that conversation with them. So I've learned a lot today about the why and what we need to do next.
Todd, I like to say that saying call for pricing is essentially the middle finger of the internet. I mean, it is literally telling the person.
Yeah.
And so I'm a prolific boater, right? We're actually talking about this before the call. And so I've spoken a lot in the boating industry. And for a long time, manufacturers in that space didn't want to talk about pricing at all. Again, because they're manufacturers. They're like, our dealers will set the prices. I said, well, guess what? Somebody is going to change the rules in your space, and somebody's going to start to talk about pricing. And then all the dominoes are going to fall. And all of you that are not talking about it, guess what? You're going to be left behind. And so one of the fastest growing sport fishing boats manufacturers in the world right now is called Sportsman boats. All right, Sportsman. And if you go to their website right now, they have this big thing that says immediate pricing, no gimmicks, no need to request a quote. And let me tell you, considering that most new boat shoppers have to call for a quote over and over again, to see that, it's so invigorating, it's so exciting, and this is why they're one of the fastest growing boat manufacturers in the world. Little things like that can completely change an entire industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Some good stuff here, and on a very interesting and challenging subject.